Welcome back. Today we will be covering how to flatten oversized boards that don't fit through your joiner. There's numerous ways to do this. Today we're going to be tackling this problem with a laser level, just a block of wood, just to describe our reference heights, and a power plane to take off the high spots. You'll also need a couple of shims to shim your workpiece and keep it from moving, because once you shim that flat, that's your fixed point. So as you can see, if you take a look here, this board has about 1/4 of an inch twist in it. I don't know if it's parallel, doesn't matter. We're going to flatten the one face on the top here. We can flip it over, and we got a big bow in that direction. Doesn't matter either way. We're going to flatten the larger side here, just because that'll be a nice reference point for you to be able to use to then send it through the planer. But you got to have that first flat face with no twist to start from. So let's get started. So first you're going to just get it in here. Take your 2 shims, and you're going to put one under each corner where there's a gap. And you're going to center it. So this shim only went in a small amount. We're going to back this one out a little bit, which will let us roll this piece a tiny bit. You want the gap on the 2 opposite corners equal. And then once it's on there and it's not wiggling, you're going to clamp it to your bench. Next step is you're going to need a line laser. Ideally, you'd have a level workbench too to work off of. If not, you can shim it to approximately level with your shims. We'll see in a minute here how close this table is. So you're going to set that up just with a horizontal laser. I don't know if you can, horizontal line, you can just barely see it going across here. So we're just going to come into the middle of the board, because that should be our average between corners. We're going to put a mark right to the top of that line. And that's just going to be our first starting point. We're going to square that off so it's a little bit easier to see. And you're just going to use this as a gauge to go all the way around this piece, checking. So right there, my pencil line is right above the laser. There, it's right above the laser. Come over here, and it's about 1/8 of an inch down from the laser. Same thing there, down 1/8 of an inch. We're good at the top of the laser. And right here, we're centered on the laser. So it's going to work the opposite of how you would kind of anticipate, just because up is down, down is up. But what you're trying to do is get the high spots off of this piece. So over here, where my line is at the top of the laser, we're good. Right here, we're at the top of the laser. Over here, we found our new lowest point. So it's down below the laser. So that's going to become our new reference point, because everything else has to come down to this level. So now we're talking almost 1/4 of an inch off of this end to get it in plane with this end, which seems like a bit much. So let me grab 2 more shims. We'll pull this up 1/8 of an inch, and then we'll go from there. So I grab 1 more shim. I'm just going to put it on this end over here. And we're just trying to get the average of the workpiece sitting in plane with this laser and not rocking around. So now we go from this end, we're above the laser, we're still below, above, above. So let's go a little bit more. Making sure it's not rocking and rolling. All right. line is just above the laser. Line is a 1/16 above the laser. We are to the bottom of the laser. Just about. Where are we? So we're going to find the spot where this line is highest above that laser. And then we're going to mark it. So that's like up a 1/16 or an 1/8. So that's an 1/8. This side's 1/8. This side we're at the top of the line. This side we're at the bottom of the line. This one's about a 1/16. This one's about a 1/16. And then once you have that mapped out, we know we got a bit of a crown in here. This is extra high. This is a 1/16 higher than that end. And there's also a little bit of a twist in here, but we'll get that last little bit out afterwards. We're just gonna get it closer first, just get off these high spots in the middle, and then we'll check it again from there. To be doing that, you're gonna use a power plane. You could use a hand plane. It's gonna take a lot longer, obviously. Power plane, just set it to 30-second. And then if I got an 1/8 inch here, I know that's 4 passes in the middle here to get this down to about the right height. But since we're gonna be doing 4 passes, the first one's only gonna be 2 inches wide. And the next one will be like 6 inches wide. And we're just gonna feather that out. We're gonna go like 10 inches wide, 12 inches wide, something. And just feather that out to the ends. Just because we don't want to make a hole right here, because then we'll just have a bump down in the hole and not accomplish anything. So let me do a couple passes on here, and we'll check it out afterwards. We did a few passes in the middle here. Let's check with our gauge block again. Our pencil reference line is right at the top of the laser line, right at the top. Come over here, we're at the bottom. Over here, we're in the middle, maybe the bottom. We're literally splitting a laser line here, so we're talking a 30-second or so. Come back to this end, we're right there. And this one we're definitely above. So we're gonna call that good now. That's gotta come down to 1/16 still. That's gotta come down to 1/16 still. This has to come down to 1/16 still. Over here, we're good. Over here, we're a little bit high. 1/32. So now we're same deal, we're gonna map this out. So if that's good, this is a 16th, 32nd. So we're gonna feather, same deal, we're gonna feather the middle out and take a little bit off of this corner as well. So we'll do like one pass through here, and we'll kind of go on a diagonal. There'll be a couple passes through here, and then since this corner is only a 30-second high, we'll do one pass there. Check again. Laser's right at the bottom. Laser's at the bottom. Still a little high. Laser's at the bottom. What do we got here? High. High. Good. High. 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 So now that we're within that half a laser line, and we're good here. We're going to dial this back even further. We'll dial this down to a 64th and fine tune just these areas that are less than a 16th. Good. Laser's right at the bottom. Line's right at the bottom of the laser. Good there. A little high. Still high. Still high. And good. I think it's just this one corner here. We're going to feather this back that way. So we're looking pretty good all the way around there. We're gonna just mark our shims so we know where to put them. If we flip this back over. And we can unclamp it and see what we get. So overall, we're definitely better. We got like a 16th maybe. So it's not going to be perfect because you're going to rely on the planer bed to take out all these other minute averages here. So I think we got one bump there maybe we're sitting on. It's so close. You can just see a little bit of a high spot here where it's touching on the table. I'm not sure where it is on that side. Let's put it back in here, put our shims back. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is just run this a few passes, one end to the other, on the small setting I got here, which is 128th. I don't know if I believe that, but we'll try it. Let's see how that looks. And there we go. That looks pretty darn good to me. So we ended up tapering it from one end to the other, feathering it back here. Or let's go run this through the planer real quick. And you'll see how close we can get it. Let's head over there. 1 13/16 at that end, so we'll go 1 3/4. we're back. So we just ran this through the planer, making sure we reference the flat face that we made here at the bench. That's going to go down against the table, so the planer can then make two parallel faces referencing that flat face that we made. And then we were able to flip-flop back and forth to the point where both faces were cleaned up and we had two flat parallel faces, as you can see. So we got no more rocking and rolling on this small board. Obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to do with a large plank if you don't have a big enough table to reference off of, but this laser will cover as large of an area as you want. It's just a matter of how much time do you want to spend using your gauge block to then fine tune in one end to the other. All right, hope that helps. Get you over that one bump in your project if that's why you're here, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.